Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Adam. I'm here with BringItDon. Let's talk to the guy in charge of the cinema. A black-haired young man takes his eyes off the N1 issue of the 1985 The Art of Cinema magazine, with Mikhail Ulyanov as Marshal Zhukov on the cover and smiles widely. Welcome to the video parlor. Fancy watching a movie? Hey, why is this man screaming outside? He's a nutcase. He got it into his head that slave owners for some reason buy tapes from me. Crazy accusation, huh? Don't believe him. I might as well say there are bunkers in the wasteland where secret experiments are carried out. Will it become true too? Let's ask some questions first. Where did you get the tapes? Once I found a videotape store. It was my initial equity, so to speak. Now I've created a whole system to provide me with new tapes. I know some stalkers and merchants who deal in rare antiques. Are there many visitors? It depends on what film or genre screens today. Sometimes there are scores of them, and sometimes I'm the only person in the cinema. What is your collection? One of your collection is in the highest demand. Action movies, comedies, quite predictably. Well, you'll be surprised, but morning aerobics for women is very popular too. Beats me. There's no plot even. Yeah, who would have thought? Have you heard anything interesting recently? I've heard that some guys in the South made a real movie. I'd like to see it. I have to explain to people every day it hasn't reached us yet. Okay, yeah, what's on today? An intellectual, or most likely, believe yourself to be one? You're in the luck, for today's the day of sophisticated art house cinema. We're screening the award-winning feature, Morning Star Rising. The ticket's only 30 rubles. Yeah, let's do it. The room with a TV set is almost empty, save for several men and women in identical turtlenecks, round dark glasses, and berets. They look you up with a slight contempt, and immediately lose any interest in you. At last, the tape recorder wakes up, and you spend the next 3.5 hours in the world of black and white film, deep symbolism, sophisticated allegories, and clear references. When the film ends, you raise from your seat. Excusez-moi, oui sont les toilettes? I don't know how to say French. Anyway, click your fingers. Alright, it's nighttime. I don't want it to be nighttime. I'm going to rest for 12 hours. Oh, by the way, cucumber brine is how you cure hangovers, but I feel like mine's going to go over shortly, so I'm not going to... Or go away shortly, so I'm not going to worry about trying to get rid of it. Let's talk to this guard. Say in front of you is a thin, tall man dressed in a police uniform. He's moving his head left to right, looking at the street. When his gaze falls onto you, a scabrous grin appears on his face. He turns to you while rubbing his hands. Hello there, comrade. What brings you to the city? Just taking a walk, I assume? Or maybe you're looking to sell something to the people of our good city. Just taking a walk, listening to local rumors. Do you have anything for me? Yeah, right. You wouldn't believe what kind of things we hear on duty every day. Take, for example, the story of the agronomist's lustful maid. Obviously, that's a reference to Argonian. Son of a gun, what's it called? The Argonian thing from Skyrim. Anyway, they say that there's this agronomist in the east. He made a fortune disinfecting the cornfields. In fact, his life was so good that he even hired a local homeless she-mutant to be his maid. To clean dust, do the laundry. But he didn't know that this woman, despite the fact that nature covered her body with scales and green skin, yeah. The lustful Argonian maid, that's what it's frickin' called. Jeez. Is a real man-eater. And what do you know? A month ago she was just his help, and now she's getting ready to be his wife. I could never do that, to be honest. And that old fool was so happy, inviting his neighbors to the wedding. Patui? Patu? I don't know. That's quite a story. And what if I'm here to open a business? Why do you care about that? Militiaman's eyes become round as he fakes surprise. Tut-tut. What about checking documents, trade licenses, permits, stock? And of course, who else could offer you a private theft protection plan? No one does business without it nowadays. Do you know how much work a militiaman has around here? We can always keep an eye on your store, so you might get robbed. Not having a protection plan isn't smart. Well, this is extortion. Thank God I'm just a gossip connoisseur, not a merchant. Do you have anything for me? Okay. I'd just like to chat. How'd you end up on the force, comrade? There were quite a few hungry years of my childhood. I had to steal, not gonna lie. But no one is a saint. Once I used a window to crawl into the apartment of an old, well-heeled man who was rumored to have kept bundles of pre-war rubles under the floorboards. I've searched all of his house and did not find any treasure, just 200 rubles and a couple cans of beans. When I crawled back into the street, trying to catch my breath, I was greeted by Afanasy Mikhailovich from our local police. He was tall, strong, stylish from head to toe. His snout all fat and shiny with a wide smile. Gun at his side, shining in the rays of the sunset. And he didn't even look at me as if I were some low-life punk. He looked at me as if I were his son, with love. And then he said in a really kind voice, 100 rubles and it's like I've never seen you. It was at that moment I realized I wanted to dedicate my life to law enforcement, so I could continue what Afanasy Mikhailovich started. Okay, well, from one extortionist to the next, right? Alright, let's talk to this guy. Let's lay a hotel. A sullen man with a mousy mustache looks at you from under a red lamp. He seems to be disgruntled. Then again, it might well be his permanent state. He heaves a deep sigh and says in a tragic voice, "Welcome to the City Hotel. Are you looking for a room?" "Yeah, I could do with some 600 minutes of sleep." First I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. What's life like in the city? I could say it's tolerable, but should I? Don't think so. To me, life in Krasno resembles a spoonful of jam with a fly stuck in it. Looks nice, but I wouldn't recommend eating it. Sounds quite pessimistic. How'd you end up a hotel owner? My mother and I opened the hotel before or after the war. I wanted to leave it and walk the wasteland in search of my fortune, but Mother insisted she needed my help. And when she died, I ended up inheriting this burden. Where can I go now? My travels are over before they have begun. Oh man, I'm starting to fall apart over here. All right. So why so sad? Why so sad? Why should I be merry? I live alone, hard up at times. I have no time to travel either. A couple times I visited Fogolevka and Otranoye. Even that was fun. This is no life. This is torture. One of these days. Enough. Maybe we should change the subject then. Have you heard any rumors? I've heard about a famous mutant hunter, Rivlin from Silesia. He has a magazine of silver bullets for mutants and simple lead bullets for gangsters and raiders. Must be an interesting person, that one. Oh yeah, then I guess all that's left is booking a room. 50 rubles, breakfast included, rat meat, suite is occupied. Alright. Let's start stealing stuff. Oh, this is the thing for the mailman. It happened again. My talent to seduce women. Is this a gift or a curse? My vocation or the cross I have to bear? To bear and sigh and moan. I wish I knew. Taurus Coral. Oh, this is the guy that the woman in Safe Journey Farm was accused of cheating with. Is this her brassiere? It's actually called a brassiere. I thought it was just going to be called a bra. The good quality pre-war brassiere. What was it doing in the Krasno Inn? Was it lost by someone? Alright, let's talk to these fellows. A big unshaved man with a smoking cigarette between his teeth stands in front of you. He casts an indifferent look at you and clears his throat, covered in soot from thick tobacco smoke. What is it? Nothing really, just hope for a chat. Sure, let's chat. We're not exactly flooded with work around here anyway. Where have you come from, guys? From Trudograd. My boss, there he is collecting material for his articles, and I accompany him as a photographer. Well, and I also scribble some stuff too, like crossword puzzles and stuff. They pay for this trip, of course, but there's absolutely nothing to do in these backwaters. By the way, talking of work, do you want to earn some money? Yeah, sounds interesting. Give me the details. Sure. Look, Trudograd is currently suffering from lack of paper. There's not much left from before the war, and freshly produced paper is way too expensive. So before I left, guys from the print shop had asked me to buy waste paper in Krasno, as it's cheaper. But it's not as simple as they think. I bought some in Paragon and some here and sent it to Trudograd, but to complete the order, I need more. The man spits out a cigarette butt and instantly opens a new pack. Fancy a cig? Thanks, I don't smoke. Go on with your story. You don't smoke? That's good. Just a second. The journalist extracts a cigarette from the pack, lights it, and goes on. So I need 500 more stacks, holy crap, of paper to complete the order. I'll pay you 12 rubles per pack. Oh, that's actually pretty good. If you find all 500 stacks I need, I'll also give you a bonus. I'll take into account. How's it being a journalist nowadays? That depends. If you know what to write, it can be quite a lucrative job, and if you don't, you risk ending up like one independent journalist from around here. He was digging up some dirt in the local criminal figure, and then mysteriously disappeared from the city. Well, you got the idea. I can't tell you more, because the said criminal figure lives next door. I wasn't born yesterday. Alright, what can you tell me about Krasno? It's a city, just like any other city. I've seen better, I've seen worse. My boss and I usually visit the local brothel, to interview sex workers, solely for this reason. Giving the lower class the opportunity to speak. Great. Have you heard anything interesting? I've heard that the pre-war Paragon director is returning to the office. What's his name? Fyodor Maximovich, I believe. I brought some waste paper for you for sale. Oh, I guess I didn't have it? Alright, let's talk to this guy. It's weird that I can barter with him, but he doesn't have anything. Alright. The man who walks to and fro across the room is middle-aged, of average height, a bit plump, and seems to be engrossed in his thoughts. He fidgets with a pencil stub and snorts and mumbles something to his companion, who also sits in the room. As he sees you, he becomes very serious. I'm Vladislav Zarenko, editor-in-chief of the Shoot to Kill print house. Are you here to talk about my interview with the local veterans? Yes, I'm interested in your interview. Perfect, except there is no interview. I was looking for someone to contact the veterans for me, so you have no idea what you're talking about. But I appreciate your bold approach and your desire to lie when you need. Are you a journalist too? Actually, I'm here to talk about Dick Popov. Dick. Is this that muscled guy whose presence in his private sauna the ex-mayor of Kitez City failed to explain? Although no, that was Pedro Stallion. What are you talking about then? About the unique, extraordinary, erotic space tech series. Yeah, I'm sorry to remember. Some guy told me about this character in the same words. I believe I was trying to have lunch in the shade. He ran to me, for some reason called me a pig and started babbling. So how is it relevant? This guy came up with an idea of an unusual book series, a collection of stories about a character called Dick Popov. I see now. What he suggests is that we start publishing second-rate pulp fiction targeted at base lowbrow audience. Well, in a nutshell, yes. This is decided then. We'll publish it. There's not enough fiction in the wasteland, and people do want to entertain themselves too. Growing beetroot and beating each other up after some vodka is not enough, apparently. You can tell your author to start preparing the material. By the way, would he mind transferring all his rights to the publishing house, and if his works don't turn out commercially successful, reimbursing Shoot to Kill print house with his personal effects? And paying me 60% of the income as his personal producer and the discoverer of his unique talent. He'll be happy to. I suppose he wouldn't even mind shooting himself to see his works printed. I only have a right to answer such questions for Gubstov. This would be unethical. The editor grins. It was a rhetorical question. Thank you for the contact. This turned out just great. Let's talk about an interview. The man folds his arms on his belly. Look, there are 3 heroes of the battle for the Berlin Wall that currently live in the city. Yeah, that very battle in the war against the Western Bloc that ended up in the nuclear surprise for us. On the one hand, this is extremely lucky. On the other, they refuse to talk to me. We started off on the wrong foot. One guy, who I suppose has a bad case of PTSD, threw his urinal right at my head. Alright, got it. What next? All I need is for them to tell me about those events. We'll make up the rest. So these are their names. Sergei Maslov, I think we've met him, who lives in the suburbs, but in a good house. Ambros Truffalev, from a house near the hotel. It was his urinal that I was nearly hit by. And the third is Vyatsky the Navigator. I think I've talked to him as well. People say he too has some sort of house somewhere in the suburbs, but he prefers lying around grasping at a bottle. Find them all and make them tell you about that battle. Write it all down or memorize it, I don't know, and bring their stories to me. You'll get 50% of my wages. Deal? Deal. The man claps his hands and dances with pleasure, which makes the old floorboards creak. Well done. Great. I'd kiss you, but I'm not big on that. Alright, I'll be waiting here. Let's talk some more. Okay, why not? You can practice your interviewing skills. Let's start. Where are you from, guys? Like most printed media nowadays, from Trudegrad, the city lost about 50% of its population, but preserved in its copper belly dozens of printing presses. How is it being a journalist nowadays? Just like any other job, everything runs smoothly if you manage not to turn into a fanatic. If they ask for a piece on, let's say, corn, go to the fields and describe everything that goes on there as best you can. If they ask for a piece on carnivorous mutants, well, look for someone who's met with them, make up a plausible story that involves you, and relax. What can you tell me about Krasno? A nice, quiet, godforsaken backwater. Perfect definition for this place. No need to snort. After the devilish, technogenic ziggurat of Trudegrad, even pre-war Moscow will seem backwatterish to you. Okay, are there any rumors that seem interesting to you? One fellow was investigating local legends about a brainworm that gets inside your head through your pupil and subdues you. While his investigation was in full swing, he dashed to Georgia all of a sudden. Said he wanted to visit his family. Weird. He never said he had any relatives in there. Okay, well, do the old quick save and go over here. Go loot this toilet paper real quick. And then talk to this guy. Okay. Wait, what are these? Oh, they're slugs. You see a huge guard near the room entrance. As you come closer, he blocks your path. Stop right there. Artemiev is busy and won't accept visitors. Who are you? Artemiev. That's the guy for Kovalev. Yeah, the stuff for the car. Streetwise, listen here, monkey mouth. Flex at me and your chief over there will lose a big cash-in opportunity. Easy there, gangster. Business is business. Just try acting a little less obnoxious. The chief doesn't like people who have a lot of moxie. And if you ask me, I'll screw your head right off. Don't stress, you mug. Everything is going to go down smooth. The guy looks over his surroundings and quickly nods. Go ahead. Alright, so nothing to say to that guy. So here's Artemiev. Before you sits a fat bloke in a crimson suit. He is studying a ledger. From time to time the man pouts and scratches his triple chin, all while making some markings on in the weather-beaten book. Hey, are you Artemiev? I am. What do you need? Talk fast, time is money. Oh, should I say this? They say you can get all kinds of rare gadgets. Is this true? Depends on what you be needing. You know how times are. You know how the times are. Quality tech is rare and costs a lot. So what will it be? I need a carburetor and an ignition starter. Got anything to offer? Artemiev starts looking through his notepad. Yeah, I got those. I can deliver them in a couple of days, but it'll cost you a pretty penny. 7,000 rubles for the carburetor, 1,000 or 10,000 for the starter. Yeah, it's a lot, but these days this stuff is really rare. Although there are other ways to pay. You can work for me if you don't have enough cash on you. Maybe we can talk about a discount? Oh god, not that. Think about it yourself. Such money for parts I can buy from any scavenger. This is way too much. Artemiev fights it, but finally accepts the truth of your words. Fine, fine. I'll take off 4,000, which means the carburetor for 3,000 and the starter for 7,000. But this is my last offer. Let's see. You mentioned a job. What was it? First off, I need you to take care of a man. An independent, gosh darn journalist. He has some intel on me. He's hiding near Krasno. You need to find him and silence him. How you do it, I don't really care, but I need the deed done. The second job is a fair bit more interesting. Close to the town, there's this locked bunker. They say it was used for intercepting communications of supposed enemies of the state. There should be a gadget in this bunker, called the IC-22 decoder. You don't need to know what it does. I just need you to fetch it for me. If you complete both tasks, you'll get your parts and more. Any questions? Hope not. I need to actually kill the journalist. Is there no other way? Maybe you don't need to kill him. What you need to do is make him shut up for good. Buy him off, threaten him. I don't care. What can you tell me about this bunker? It's near Krasno in the mountains. There was a communications array there some time ago. I intercepted enemy signals and whatnot. You need to search that place for a decoder. Okay, no questions asked. I'm on both missions. Good. Now let me point out that bunker on your map. I'll circle the place where the journalist is probably hiding as well. You pass your map to Artemiev and he draws 2 points on it, each with short phrases, radio bunker and rest stop 6. Those places are long forgotten, but I doubt you will get lost. Okay, well I gotta go. Can I ask you any questions? Nope. Alright, we're all business. I like that. So that's less reading I have to do. Okay, what's this building all about? Also looks like there's a bunch of empty... Oh no, it's not. Oh wait, there's a sailor. Let's go talk to him. Let's start with this guy. A gray-bearded militiaman greets you with a serious look and a light wariness. Having cleared his throat, he looks you straight in the eye and asks, "How can I help you, comrade?" "How are you doing here at the harbor? The local is getting on your nerves?" The militiaman has another short-term coughing fit, then he answers you with a smirk. Keeping in mind that there is a brothel right on the boat, it's almost impossible to be bored here. Sometimes I need to save the clients, who have not paid for the rendered services, from the girl's wrath. Sometimes I need to transfer the drunks to the bushes so they can rest there. Life's fun. What else can I tell you? Has anything interesting happened here? The man frowns. My post is near to the local casino and the brothel, so the things that happen here are usually funny. But a couple of years ago, a few steps from here on the shore, the fate has brought me... it was gruesome. The body of a dead girl about 20 years or so. She was dressed in modest clothes, and it was clear she wasn't a prostitute. Just walked past the brothel for some reason when someone grabbed her, cut her throat and mouth from ear to ear as if it were a smile. We couldn't crack the case no matter how hard we tried. No one could identify the poor girl. She didn't have any ID on her. When I was filing the paperwork, I had to give her a nickname. I've named her the Black Hortensia because of her beauty and the color of her dress. Now, who was the scumbag who destroyed such a beauty? I am into local gossip. Care to share? In the old days, there was a gang called the Alphabet here. For security reasons, the gang members had nicknames consisting of one letter. I investigated their attacks on the local caravans. Their traces led me to an abandoned Kolkhoz, where their base was located. Suddenly I see A and B, the two biggest Alphabet bosses, sitting in the ruins of an old chimney. They were smoking, drinking, and laughing as if having forgotten that just a day ago they've killed 10 caravanners. I quickly called for backup and started shooting so that these bastards didn't have the time to get off the chimney. A caught a headshot and fell, but B disappeared, vanished into thin air, and he was gone for many years. Now I keep hearing of people talking of B's return. They say he is looking to get the gang back together. Alright, so this is what, the brothel? If his looks are anything to go by, you're about to meet a proper sea dog, large as life. The man puffs at his wooden pipe thoughtfully and strokes his large gray beard. As he notices you, he puts his arms akimbo and nods. Arg, fancy a little cruise? I might, depends on the destination. The captain casts a loving look at a small boat anchored nearby and answers in a very serious voice. I cruise from Krasno to the Dead City. It is full of dangers, yet many adventurers find it appealing. Sounds interesting. What's your price? How often do you do such tours? Not too often. Those places are curious but unfriendly. There's no denying it. Sometimes I'm low on the funds, and sometimes I transport huge parties of stalkers there. It's all sheer luck. I understand. What's your price? Let's do some calculations here. The price of the fuel to leave the bay, food, hammocks, latrine tax. This makes $7 grand in total. Have you no shame, Sea Dog? Drop the price for this fellow seaman. Okay, if you insist. Let it be $5 grand, but no less. So these tours are your only source of income? Doesn't sound like a lucrative job. No wonder. I usually deliver cargoes or fish from time to time, catch anchovies in my net. But these are all side activities. So cash on the nail and let's go. Make up your mind now. Okay, so we can travel to the Dead City? I don't know what the Dead City is. I don't remember what the Dead City is. I'm sure someone's told me. Alright, let's talk to this fellow. I don't know how many rubles I have right now. It can't be a lot. Now it's even less. And I'm encumbered. The militiaman standing in front of you looks as if fate wasn't particularly kind to him, especially to his right ear. It's split, as if someone took a swing at it with a machete. I almost said machete. However, most probably it was a simple axe that did this damage. Having noticed you, the man spits on the ground like a mobster and crosses his arms on his chest. What do you want? Nothing unusual, just want to ask how your service is going. It's alright. As soon as I've learned that they are recruiting new militia officers here at Krasno, I immediately ran away from my gang. Crap. I meant to say I ran away from my village and got a job here. To shake down the locals. I mean, to protect the law. Yeah. How'd you manage to cut your ear like that, if it isn't a secret? Oh, that? That's a mistake I made when I was young. You should have seen what I did to the guy who did this to me. Have you heard any interesting rumors lately? Any gossip, stuff like that? Have you heard about Dan? Smart guy, let me tell you that. He rose from rags to riches. Made Otranoye and all the others in the area work for him. Even here in Krasno, he's considered to be the kingpin. Respect. Yeah, I know Dan. We're pretty tight. I don't want to give him explosives because I feel like he's going to start using them. Alright, so where are we at now? Doesn't look like anything spectacular. Cupboard again. Gosh darn it. I need to give this guy some alcohol, I think. You'll be my port wine guy. My vodka guy. There you go. Alright, dude. What are you doing in here? In front of you is a man in his 50s, even though he looks much older. His sunken eyes, thin motionless legs, and near constant dry cough are all signs of a serious illness. But the tattoos of weapons, military equipment, and abbreviations of pre-war divisions on his parchment-like skin tell the story of a past spent in the army. The second man looks at you with a mix of surprise, fear, and disgust. He starts talking with a throaty falsetto. Everything will be fine in Krasno, Ambrose. You'll get a place to stay, a pension, Ambrose. Everyone will respect you, Ambrose. The high-pitched parody of a female voice is replaced by a thick soldier's bass. Foolish woman. Yeah, I got my own place, but everything and their uncle... You got my own place, but everybody, and their uncle too, keeps parading in it. Who are you, and what the hell are you doing here? Who, me? I'm just getting to know the locals. Can we talk? Oh my goodness. I while away here, crippled and forgotten, but some hoodlums just can't leave me alone. Come on, tell me what you want and go away. Tell me a bit about yourself. Military past, unclear future. That's original, right? That's a bit laconic. What do you do for a living? What do you think I do? The man lifts one of his legs with his hands and lets it go. The leg falls back down like a dead weight. Do you suppose I run marathons? Nope. Krasno is paying me a pauper's pension. Darn it to hell. Wow, you even get a pension. What do you think about Krasno? They have respect for the old and the crippled, but not too much, of course. Just enough to stop me from wanting to assemble a mine and blow up their darn government bunker in one nice sunny morning. On one nice sunny morning. Are you sharing your rumors with me? What's the use in sharing them? People have been talking for, I can't remember how many months now, about that some shady people in Paragon are doing God knows what under the disguise of a barbecue shop. But our local politicians still go there to eat. Ambrose Trivalev? How about an interview, you old war dog? Again? Why you? The man unceremoniously points his scrawny finger at you. Another one. Another butthole came to dig up my glorious past. Already told to the first journo to go screw himself. Threw my urinal at him. After spending a third of my pension on buying a new one, Oh my goodness, but after spending a third of my pension on buying a new one, I want to do the same to you. Listen, what we're gonna do. Give me 100 rubles and the story is yours. I want to learn from you. I want to know what it takes to become a hero. Savior of the motherland. Oh goodness gracious. What a nice guy you are. Okay, I'll tell you everything. Just stop brown-nosing. Listen. Nod and gesture for him to continue. The man sniffs angrily, but gradually his eyes glaze over as if he's mentally traveling to the past. Well, as you know, by 1986 the Berlin Wall wasn't that flimsy concrete rubbish that they put there after the World War II anymore. Now its height in some places reached 5 meters, its width expanded so much that 2 men could walk shoulder to shoulder atop it. The guys and I were ordered to guard a mere 100 meters of this construction. What could go wrong? Silence. It all started like usual. West Germany approved... It all started like a usual West Germany approved love rally. It was all pretty standard. We want peace, we want union, the wall is bad, blah blah blah. At times I would even feel for those protesters. I would think, indeed, why do we care to hold on to this piece of the country? But it looks like for somebody love and beautiful speeches weren't self-expression enough. At some point, Lesha Mamedov, I think, and I began noticing very suspicious people in plain clothes among the crowd of the peaceful protesters. They communicated with each other with gestures and it seemed as if they were directing the crowd. They provoked the protesters to move ever closer to the wall. It was when Saraza Kukulov, our sniper, noticed that one of these people in plain clothes was carrying something under his trench coat. And now he crouched down as if attaching this something to the base of a wall, while hiding behind the hippies that surrounded him. Explosives, right? It was C4. After that, everything went to the dogs. I remember it second for second. First, Kulikov neutralized the man with the explosive because he saw him attach the detonator already. Right after that, one of the agents in plain clothes killed Kulikov with a shot from a gun that concealed in his sleeve, right up from the center of the crowd. I still see the poor guy falling from the wall and holding onto his neck. After that, the crowd that didn't figure out what had happened rushed to the nearest checkpoint, attacking us for their murdered friends. By that time, I had already got out a megaphone, switched on a siren, started convincing citizens not to respond to the provocation. They began shooting at me from the inside the crowd and from the roofs of the surrounding houses. I barely managed to hide from the bullets. I don't know what special unit was in charge of the operation, but they had it all figured out. As the shooting started, a group of people broke away from the crowd of protesters and took down the checkpoint's guards. Or gates. And several explosions happened. Evidently, Kulikov had neutralized only one bomber out of many. Everyone was scattered. What happened to you next? When I came around, a good 50 meters of the wall had turned into dust. People were running from our side, from the East Germany, to hide with the West Germany. The militants from the West Germany broke into our side and were disappearing in the city that was mad with panic to facilitate their allies' planned invasion. A few days later, as a response to the shooting of the peaceful protest, East Germany was invaded by the NATO troops. They even had videotapes of someone from our part of the wall firing at the crowd from a machine gun. Diplomacy proved to be powerless. The war engulfed the whole world. That's it. What a story. You are a hero. The man looks glumly at Hexagen, but doesn't dignify him with a response. As far as I know, this wasn't the only such fight. Maybe it wasn't. I'm just a soldier telling you what I saw. So the initial pretext for the start of the war was a lie. I don't know. This has always bothered me. That's why I hate it when different morons make me remember it. The footage on which somebody from our side was unloading a machine gun on the peaceful crowd went around the world. I'm a living witness that it never happened. Nobody used the machine gun, even though we had it. Except I did, in fact, black out for a couple of minutes. No, I have no idea. Was your comrade in arms, Navigator Vyotsky, doing that day? Or what was he doing that day? Navigator. Do you mean Chaim Vyotsky? Yes. These days he calls himself Navigator. He got attacked when defending the checkpoint. He shot tear gas at the aggressors to avoid aggravating the situation. When the crowd took down the gates, he almost had a gas grenade shoved up his butt. Good thing that guys covered him up and he had time to get away. What was your comrade in arms, Sergei Maslov, doing that day? Ambrose frowns and rubs his forehead. Maslov. No, I don't remember him. I didn't have anybody with that name. Thanks for this story. I'm not thanking you for prying this awful thing out of me again. Be kind. Let me live what's left of my life in peace. Alright, not another word about it. Alright, so that's one of the stories down. A lot of reading. And there's a boat up here too. It's probably where the casino and the brothel were up here. Let's talk to this guy yelling about corn. And he has corn for sale. You see a lonely old man aged around 50. He has a ciggy in his fingers. He smokes and shouts weak phrases, advertising his wares. When he sees you, he slams at his car with his fist. Oh, a buyer. Listen, pal. Why don't you buy some awesome apples? Hold up, can I ask some questions? Fine, we could talk. Ask away. What can you tell me about the city? Me and my car, we've seen lots of places. This one is better than most. I'm not planning on leaving, but I'm not saying it's ideal either. There are certain things. Like in all other places, old pal. Why are you selling the stuff that you're selling? It's a path of least resistance. Apples aren't French wine. They're easy to grow, easy to find, easy to sell, and easy to tell a spoiled one from a sweet one. So there's no risk of making an error and selling a bad product. It's a smart move. Where did you get such an awesome car? I bought it back before the war. It was so hard keeping it safe after the bombs fell. It's scary to even remember. Now it's a bit calmer, but still. I keep the ignition key on a string, and the string is tied to my tooth. If anyone tries to hit me, I'll swallow the key and they won't get my car. It's quite radical. Maybe you heard some good rumors. Heard there were plenty of people making various homebrewed drugs, and share their recipes in books and magazines. I even saw one such recipe in a book my pal has. Nowadays, everyone is an apothecary. Alright. I've already looked at his wares, so I'm not worried about that. That's the guy with the ant, right? Yeah. Behind the old rickety tray stands a man of solid build with shifty eyes and a fake grin plastered on his lean face. The man is eating sunflower seeds and periodically yells the advertisement slogan. When he sees you, he waves for you to come closer. Don't miss your chance. For a very liberal price of 50 rubles. For a liberal price of 50 rubles price, you can buy the ticket of the official Krasno lottery. The winner of the car this time is our mutual friend, death race contestant Peter the Denim. But who knows, maybe this week it'll be you. Lottery, you say? Sounds interesting. Care to get into more details? Let's ask some questions first. Well, why not? I'm listening. Is this lottery a profitable endeavor for you? It depends. The chances to win something are rather high. Sometimes they even get into debts. But what can you do? It's a risky job, but somebody's got to do it. I like your determination. How's the city faring? We're doing just fine. Great even. The local authorities do their best to help small businesses and honest working people. If it wasn't for all sorts of fanatics that occupy the city, life would be just peachy. Helping honest people, that's a bit rich coming from you. The man tries his best to show how offended he is. This is an honest and official establishment, my good sir. Everybody has a real chance of winning. Maybe you heard some interesting rumors? They say that behind the city walls, a horrible disease, Krasnov syndrome, is taking its toll on the populace. I hope it won't get into the city. So I'm wondering if you have a high enough luck, if you'll play the lottery and actually win. And he'll be surprised to not have the reward for you. More details on the lottery. The man leans closer, wiping the chaff from his jacket. His face turns on a serious expression. I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Alexei Golubchenko, but my friends call me Lyosha. I'm the official representative of the only real lottery in all the wastes. You have a unique opportunity to get some significant money prizes, and if you're really lucky, even a car. Zaguli 2101. Soviet quality in all its glory. All you have to do is guess the right order of numbers. What do you say? Can you tell me more about the rules? They're easy. Pick 5 numbers from 1 to 5. One correctly guessed number will give you 100 rubles, 2 200, 3 400, 800 all 5, 1600. Oh, sorry, I misread that. And if you will guess a special combination of numbers, you will have a chance to win a car. The drawing of prizes happens every week on Sunday. So you interested already? No, not right now. Maybe later. Before you approach him, the militiaman is pensively gazing into the blank space, hardly blinking. Your arrival fills him up with fresh energy. His empty stare becomes accusing. He asks you calmly, but with obvious displeasure. Why are you sneaking up on me? Who does that? When I'm lost in my thoughts, I can just hit you out of pure reflex. It will hurt. Sheesh, what do you want? Now tell me what you were thinking about before we started talking. Just thinking about this recent dream I had. I dreamt that the festivities had returned to this city. The Victory Day, Police Day, City Day, all at once. There was this great parade. The men in clean, ironed uniforms carrying swords gallop out on white stallions from the old barracks that were destroyed even before the war. They ride along the main street singing a song, and then they do a lap of honor around the Chamber of Commerce. The riders are followed by pioneers carrying shovels, rakes, and other tools. Their voices are clear and loud. They are singing a heartwarming song, but the pioneers are followed by a slow, sad donkey covered by a faded blanket. His eyes are full of tears, as if he's trying not to cry. I feel so sorry for him. The celebration is all around, but the donkey is crying. Why? Why is he crying? God, maybe there's no point in guessing. What else do you want to know? I'm relatively new here in the city. What should I avoid here? The brothel, the drugs, breaking the law, and the mud mimics. These days, they aren't pestering us too much because the water level in the river is back to normal. There are days when the river becomes more shallow, and they come from the waist to lay their eggs in the warm mud. Horrible little creatures. I'm just here looking for some interesting gossip. Maybe you've heard something. Something strange is going on with our local veteran, the town drunk navigator Vyatsky. I've heard that he tried to climb the tallest building in the city, completely crap-faced, just to jump off of it. In our profession, this day is referred to as El Delirium del Diablo, the devil's shaking frenzy. Right. I can't escape it. Okay. Well, you're new. Oh man, how long have I been recording? It's a lot of reading. The woman with short gray hair slowly walks around the city. When she sees you, she crosses her arms on her chest and looks at you kindly, with sincere interest in her gaze. Another traveler walks her streets. This one looks like he's searching for someone or something. Those shoes, that military grace in your step. You're the second person with that gaze I've met in recent times. So when will the third one come over? Who was the first one, and why do you expect a third? Have you noticed that things in our world come in threes? Either it's a gang with 3 leaders, the local loan shark who has 3 people in debt, or that time it turned out that 3 veterans of the last war lived somewhere in the city. And that's not nearly all. So who's the first person that looked like me? Not that long ago, I was walking home from the Chamber of Commerce late at night, when I saw a tough-looking military man with a submachine gun in his arms. He had such queer mannerisms, as if he was just back from military drill, even though the military doesn't even exist anymore. You have those too, you know. He said hello to me as he passed by, stopped near a fence and lit a ciggy. I rounded a corner, but instead of going home, I started watching that man. Don't really know why. He smoked for a while, then he entered the Mushroom Cult building, or the Mycelium Society as they call themselves. Never seen him after that, but I remembered him very well, for some reason. That is strange. Some questions. Who are you? What can you tell me about yourself? My name is Klavdia. I'm a simple city dweller. I don't even have a job. Those walks I take from time to time is all I'm good for nowadays. Must be pretty darn boring. For how long do you live out here? I live here for as long as this place exists, and I lived here even before that, when it was just a simple Soviet city. I lived here for so long, I'm about to spurt actual roots, you know. I don't think like that. I'm sure you still have a full life of adventure ahead. Oh man, what do you do for a living? The lady gives you a sad smile. I'm pretty lucky. You know, back in the day, aspiring politicians took wives to fortify their careers. With their passion, their love, and adoration they kept for their mistresses. In the old world, I became a concubine for one such dedicated man, who held on to his power even after the bombs fell. Although we have no passion for each other anymore, we are still very good friends. That friendship will never die. For those around me, I'm a sad old cat lady who has a stash of old money and lives off of it. But I had love in my life, and amazing gifts and great times. And even now I have a dear friend who helps me, who sometimes visits me so we can sit down and remember our youth together. But enough about that. I told too much already. Any rumors? I'm not into rumors, unlike my good friend, Yegoria. But I talked to her about those. I'm more like my other friend, Rita. She's a calm person who takes no interest in hearsay. Just takes care of her home and her husband, Tadeusz. He's one lucky man, you know. Okay. So I didn't go in this building. Which I'm assuming is the Chamber of Commerce. There's so many people to talk to. Oh, this is one of those mushroom pool guys. Hold on. A gray-haired man with a neat beard who's taking a slow walk, mumbling fairly distinguishable words. As you approach him, you understand that what you're hearing are mathematical terms. In this case, the quadrature of the circle will be equal to... Oh, I haven't noticed you there, young man. How long have you been following me? Are you a student? Math students, are you some kind of local professor? An elderly man smiles apologetically, as if he's feeling guilty for not introducing himself earlier. Tadeusz Petrovich Crabclaw at your service, young man. Not gonna lie, it's been over 20 years now since I've been a professor. Nowadays I'm a simple man who lives out his days with his wife Rita, from time to time providing advice, to quote the words of the immortal Alexander Pushkin, a young and unfamiliar tribe on various technical issues. It's sad you cannot share your knowledge with a wider audience. It saddens me too, my dear colleague. However, even though my brain is able to store a lot of engineering secrets, I never learned how to do several things at once. I have plans to write a number of textbooks for the future generations, but I'm constantly distracted by all these consulting jobs that I need to take in order to feed my small family. Do you think that you could have written all these textbooks if someone was to say, finance your work? Ah, yo man, these jokes make my old heart ache for no good reason. Do you know how happy it would have made me to write these textbooks? If I would have magically received at least 10,000 rubles needed to secure a decent life for me and my wife. That's not something one can just get by destiny. But that's not something one can just get because destiny decided to show kindness. And here's where you're wrong. Right now I'm a bit short on cash, but I promise to sponsor your work as soon as I have some money. With all due respect, my friend, I find it hard to believe. Why waste our hopes on the impossible in this cruel world? I'll prove you wrong as soon as I have the money. Let's see. Unless you're looking for my advice, because in that case I'm afraid I'll need to charge you. Aren't you getting any retirement money from the city? Oh man. Well, it's not a hard no, of course, because a certain man named Maslov in his time secured payment for retirement benefits to the veterans of this world's last war. However, the veteran workers of intellectual labor are invisible to the fine gentlemen in the Chamber of Commerce. Of course, there were times when I received a very pleasant monetary compensation from the Chamber of Commerce for giving lectures on the proper care for the ventilation locks in their bunker. What kind of advice do you provide, if it's not a secret? I'm an engineer. During my time, I've worked on developing some cutting-edge technologies, from new types of weapons to the newest bomb shelters. My knowledge helps the people who came into possession of such objects without receiving the necessary training. I'm also quite good with hydraulic systems. Like, for example, the last consultation I gave was about repairing an irrigation pump. Be so kind to share some local gossip with me? I'm not one for gossip and rumors, but I share an interesting observation with you. According to my calculations, the probability of the legendary organization Atom being real is close to 99%. It's funny how this obviously real organization first became known as an urban legend. But it's indeed the truth. Atom is real and I am one of its agents. Your words make the man burst out laughing. You're quite a comedian, young man. Back in my teaching days, people like you were sent to compete in the club of the funny and inventive people. Just don't tell these jokes to the city militia. God forbid you get arrested. Now tell me where are all the interesting places around here. I'm afraid I can't help you there. Go take a walk around the city. Talk to people. I'm sure you'll find someone who will be able to help you. Alright, so I'm gonna go set up for the next episode by standing over here, I guess. It's another merchant. I don't know if I've talked to this old lady. There's actually several merchants here. Oh my goodness. So we're probably gonna be here for another 2 or 3 episodes talking to everybody. It's not gonna be super exciting. I'll tell you that. And my throat's gonna pay the price. Oh, there are suburbs over here. I don't know what this building is, because I thought this was the Chamber of Commerce at first. Because this should be the hospital, right? Yeah. Initially I thought this was the Chamber of Commerce, but turns out it's not. It's probably apartment buildings. The Chamber of Commerce is this big building right here, I'm willing to bet. I want to talk to this guy and this guy. And this sad lady. Yeah, we still have a lot of reading, a lot of talking to do. I'm going to call it here. In the next episode, we'll continue talking to the Krasnonites, or the Krasnomians? Krasnonians? I don't know what they are. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see y'all in the next episode.